You know I'm going to get the red hot oil down the arm treatment, don't you? You know it's coming, or it'll get in my face. There we go. Oh, lovely. Hello there, and in this video I'm going to try and start the process of sorting out the bumpers on VEP. Now you may have seen from the pictures that they are pretty bad and quite faded. I know Kitch in the past had used a heat gun on them to bring them back to life, but unfortunately that quite often means that they get even worse when they redegrade. I've already had a very quick play with the heat gun on the front, and unfortunately what I found was that I had to get the plastic so hot to get the colour to come back through that I was starting to lose the texture on the bumpers, which isn't ideal. I've then experimented with a few other little things in a few places, and I've found a possible solution, and it's going to involve the use of one of these, a magic sponge. Now these are effectively a small abrasive, and the idea is that they'll take the dead layer of plastic off the top. Now I don't think it's going to be enough to completely restore the bumpers, but it might be just enough then to allow me to reheat treat it without having to get the plastic so hot, because I think one of the reasons I was having a problem with the test area on the front is that I was having to almost melt through the dead bit of plastic in order to get that colour back to the surface. So to start off with, I'm going to use this to strip away that dead layer, and then we'll see how they look. That then might be good enough to put some form of other protectant or product on it. I'm trying to be careful, to be honest with you, because I really don't want to put anything with silicone in, particularly if I want to have these repainted in the future, or whether they'll just pass for now, at least until Rustival, and then I can come up with an alternative strategy. Like I say, I do think long term these are either going to have to be painted or maybe even wrapped in order to maintain a semi-decent appearance. You may notice no microphone today because the vast majority of this video is going to be time-lapse. So all I'm going to do in this part is I've got a set of magic sponges, quite a few actually, because I expect I'll get through them, a bucket of soapy water over here, and I'm just going to do multiple passes over the bumper, hopefully not take away too much of the texture, and get rid of the plastic, and also get rid of a lot of the ingrained dirt that's in them as well, because that's the other trouble with these bumpers is because they are quite heavily textured, they do seem to have sucked up a lot of dirt that a casual car wash doesn't really seem to want to sort out. Anyway, that's enough of me waffling. I'm going to enjoy a little bit more hot brown, and then I'm going to crack on and hopefully get this looking a little bit better. Right then, so we're on day 2 of sorting the bumpers out, and you might have seen towards the end of the time lapse I had a little bit of the play, if I can get my words out, with the drill, and it seemed to make a difference. Unfortunately, the battery in the drill was flat because, of course, it's still February and it's freezing. So I've charged that up, and if that works, I have got a corded one, which I might then have a play with. But the next thing I need to do is get these tailgate lenses off so that I can access the rather grim bit of bumper that's living underneath. So, having played with the drill, I think on reflection it's not enough of a time saver to warrant messing around with at the moment. I've taken a tiny bit of the texture off the bumper there, and it's not getting as deep into the grain where a lot of the dirt and the muck is as the magic sponges are. I've had a little bit of a look around here as well, which is a little bit scary. I really do need to get something on this bit of rear metal ASAP to try and save it. I can already see one place where I've got a hole in the metal, and I'm sure if I tapped that with a hammer that would turn into quite a large hole fairly quickly. So I think before Rustival I'll either try and paint some rust converter on it, or at the very least just give it a soaking in some form of wax oil, just to try and keep the weather out of it for now until I can do something about it properly in the spring. But yeah, that's much worse looking than I thought it was, and I'm sure even more horrors are lurking beneath this bumper. Again, I don't want to take the bumper off before Rustival, because to be honest with you, I suspect various things will snap and then I won't be able to get it back on again. Anyway, enough of that. I'm going to resume working on this by hand, and I'll fire back into time lapse. Okay then, so I think it's clear at the moment that I'm probably trying to pursue a level of finish that's just not going to come out of these bumpers. You know, they are generally now red, but I think using this technique is about as good as that's going to get. But the only good thing about it is even these areas here where there's still a little bit of white showing, if I put a bit of moisture on it, it does seem to go a deeper red, which would suggest that these may respond to some trim treatment afterwards. Like I say, unfortunately I've got quite a lot of polish residue in a few other places as well, so I'm going to try and do a little bit more on this mid and low section here. Like I say, it's not perfect, in fact it's a good way off perfect. In fact, I might even see if I can hit this area again as well, and just make sure that what I'm looking at isn't polish residue that's stuck in there as well. But yeah, it's going to be what it's going to be. It's never going to be It's never going to be perfect, but hopefully it might just give me a better base from which to apply some product just to smarten them up. Right, so I think we've got some improvement going on here, but there's definitely still a fair way to go. I'm deliberately now not working with any polishers, and I'm hoping that's going to give me a better impression of what I'm going to be left with. But I'm just about out of magic sponges at this stage, so I think what I'm probably going to have to do is see if I can order some slightly more aggressive ones, and then we'll take another go at this. I'm going to have to treat this, I think, a little bit like surface preparation for paint. I plan to try and use a coating to seal them, but there's absolutely no point trying to do that until I've knocked off as much of the dead material as possible and I've got as even finish as possible. I mean, there's all sorts. There seems to be, you know, I've got dirt stuck in here, I've got bits of old polish stuck in here, and I seem to have residue from, I think, whatever product was last used as well that's all sort of embedded in here. But even still, I think you'll agree, that's looking better as we're going along. So I think all I can do really is just keep plodding along and pushing. And then, like I say, we'll see where it... sorry, I've just realised I'm not wearing my microphone, so it's probably making all sorts of horrible noises. But yes, we'll see where it gets me to. Okay, so it's the following day, and I've taken the decision to crack on with applying the coating I've bought to this, and what I've gone for is this Cerakote trim coat. It's a pretty simple application. It's just a series of wipes that you run over, and I think they've got like a clear coat or a resin in them that sets. The idea being that this then should provide a semi-permanent coating on the bumpers and hopefully keep them looking reasonable. Now, I had planned to do a little bit more refining on these bumpers, but as you saw yesterday, the more I did, the worse they seem to get, and like I say, the longer I leave them, the more white they're going again. So I really don't want to leave this too long. I'm going to start on VEP's bottom and we'll go from there. Obviously, I need to test these in a relatively inconspicuous area first as well. So what I'm going to actually do is pop the two rear lights out and we'll try them under there first, because if, worst case scenario, I put this wipe on and it dissolves everything, at least it's not going to be anywhere somebody can see it. So I'm going to go and get some gloves on, because this is nasty stuff. You don't want it on your skin. It's the other reason I'm wearing scruffs today. And I've also got both the front and rear door of the garage open for ventilation. I would love to do this outside in the daylight, but it's February and it's currently chucking it down. Anyway, enough rambling, let's get applying. So here's our inconspicuous area, and like I say, provided it doesn't immediately bubble and fizz and go horrible, I'm then going to continue, and I'll probably do the whole top surface of the bumper to begin with, and we'll see how things look. So I have no idea, by the way, how far these are going to go either. I think there's about 10 wipes in each pack. I'm hoping to use 5 on the front and 5 on the rear, but I wouldn't at all be surprised if I wind up buying another box before we're done. So we'll see how we do. Apparently they're quite stinky, these wipes are. Oh yes, oh, they're very smelly. Okay, apparently you leave them folded and just wipe. So we'll see what happens. He says he's only going to put it on an inconspicuous area and then immediately puts it on a area that is not inconspicuous. Oh well. What it does tell me, however, it may not tackle the fully white areas looking at it. Oops. But, I've got to say, first inspection, that doesn't look too bad at all. So I think I'm going to keep going. I'm just going to tilt the camera slightly. And yeah, I'm just going to keep applying, because, let's be honest, what have I got to lose? Anything's got to look better than the way they did, I think, at this stage. Hopefully you'll be able to see it going on this way. I'm getting wet knees, but it's fine. What I'm doing is suffering for my art. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I'm a little disappointed because these did look very even when they were wet. And because they looked even when they were wet, I was reasonably confident that they were going to look even when this stuff was applied. I gotta say, you've definitely got to work with this with in a well ventilated area. I think, to be honest with you, I'll just pick you up for a moment. That's probably as good as we're going to get for now. So they look pretty good from a distance and they are reasonably even, but even there you might just be able to see there's like a white runny patch there, and then the lower half there is not fantastic either, but they still look 1000% better than they did. So I'm going to leave this lot to dry and then we'll take another look and see how things look in the morning.